And the stuff about Jesus wasn't all in that one moment, because there, there were other moments that I had, like visions. My whole life, I had visions when I was little, where God would come to me and tell me that I had Christ in me, all that stuff, and then not to listen to the Christians. I mean, pretty much my whole life, God's been telling me that Christians were wrong, and that they were assholes, and that Jesus wasn't an asshole, and that I wasn't an asshole, and I had Christ in me, and that women, all this stuff. And then, I had experiences where I saw through Jesus's eyes at the River Jordan. Then I saw the dove, and I saw the refracted dancer. That was important. I'm not even going to go into that one, because I saw the way Jesus saw Salome, and the way he loved Maggie, and the way he viewed the goddess as his father, the mother side, because God is the mother and the father. And that the refracted dancer is like the goddess, part of God, refracted because of light, but light of soul. Refraction in optics is when light passes from one medium into another. And that was him seeing the Christ. I don't like that word, the Christ, because it's Greek. It's like the light of God. It's like the mediation. It's like the Word of God. It is like the Logos, I guess, but he saw it in a Salome, who danced the dance of the seven veils and got John Baptist's head. But he saw it in Maggie as his counterpart. And the relationship between that and Aphrodite and all these stories that really foretold the whole thing, only if you look at all of them. You got the Jewish tradition that foresaw the parts of it. But then there are myths and tales that have been told in the whole region. And his life is so much bigger and more important to the whole world when it's an affirmation of everything. And of the female side too. So like Aphrodite, whose husband, or whose, consort they call it, she was worshipped in temples by priestesses. And the priestesses would give themselves to strangers who would pay for sex with them. And they would use the money to keep up the temple. And it was about sacrifice and about the harrowing of hell, conquering hell. And the goddess of sexual love and of higher love. But, all right. So, Jesus, Yeshua, he spoke Aramaic, which it's only, so if the Romans spoke Latin, there's nobody alive today that speaks. People speak Latin, but it's not a living language. Nobody learns Latin from their mother when they're a baby. That's why it's a dead language. People speak Italian, and that's the descendant, linguistically, of Latin. Well, the descendants of the language that Jesus spoke, Aramaic, and it's spoken in Iraq. So you bombed them. I mean, it's not funny. But Aramaic has the term Adonai. That's what Jesus called himself. It means anointed. Has a similar meaning to Christ, christened, anointed. But Jesus, Yeshua, was baptized at the river by John the Baptist. But remember, we baptize children. And we anoint kings. And so the queen of Jesus, Yeshua, Maggie, Mary Magdalene, is the one to anoint him when she rubs his feet with oil. Then he's called Adonai. And Adonai in Greek is Adonis. And Adonis is the husband of Aphrodite. And Aphrodite goes into hell for love, the way Jesus did, the harrowing of hell, the dance of the seven veils. Ishtar, Inanna, Astarte, for Adonai, for Adonis. And so after Jesus died, all right, you know, he's got this wife, and he loved her. And don't get mad at me. People like attack me whenever I talk about religion. Christians do. So I was never ever, I would have kept everything about this stuff to myself. Always. Especially that I saw the Christ come into me and all that shit. I would never fucking tell anybody that. Ever. Because I don't like Christians breathing down my neck. You can believe whatever you want. I would never tell you, exalt me like Christ. Or like Jesus. Or I believe in God. But it's based on personal experience. It's not anything from the Bible or anything. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go read the Bible. I didn't get to God that way. Why would I? Christians have been throwing rocks at me my whole life. One way or another. You know, and I have a relationship with God. But this is the kind of thing that pisses Christians off now. Oops. So why would I not keep? The only reason why I'm not keeping this to myself now is because the Christians keep fucking being assholes. Around here. And John kept pushing this idea of sin on me. And he kept on acting like, you know, to me, the apostles, all right, let me keep going with this. The apostles and the church fathers, people who wrote the Gospels in Greek, not the Gnostics, wrote the other Gospels that never became a part of the early church, but the ones that were written in Greek that emphasized a certain part of Jesus. And from my perspective, they erased part of his life. And they were dicks to him. Dicks! And then John comes around and John's like, he knows Greek. He's really all about Greek. And the application of Greek philosophy to the Gospels and stuff like that. And he's sitting in the car with me one day and he goes, Chris, my name's John. And your name's Chris. Those are two names that are hard to live up to. And I was like, you don't even know. Because here he is, trying to erase from my life, edit out of my life, my Maggie, like John the Apostle did to Yeshua. And I felt like what I felt, Yeshua felt towards the apostles and to the church fathers. Like, you guys are well-meaning, but you're real dicks. You know that? You're real assholes. And then John says to me things like, I don't think men can really develop spiritually around women. I'm like, whoa, here you are again. Priests can't have priestesses. Church can't have priestesses. Priests can't be around women. I'm like, holy shit, because you want to divorce divine love from sexual love. But what you don't realize is when it's all unified, all that love, for one other person especially, the whole of all that love, from sexual to divine, in one experience, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So the love you experience with that integration is way greater than just divine love, as you put it, as you conceive it. Anyway, so I'll keep going with this. I'm going to put this one